Good evening and welcome to the Buckland Select Board meeting of Tuesday. It's February 10th. It's 5 p.m. We'll roll into our first agenda item. We have the MVP 2.0 grant. We're looking to authorize the town administrator to sign any contractual documents with that.
And actually, in looking at the contract that I just received, it's more, both of us are gonna have to sign, because it's a typical state contract where one person can't self-authorize the other. Do you want me to share what this MVP 2.0 is all about?
Sure.
I'm sure our viewers at home would like to know.
So we were told that the 2.0 grant that we applied for this several months ago, we were granted the award, which is exciting news. Basically 1.0, MVP 1.0, we started back in 2018. And through that process, we identify vulnerabilities in Buckland, and we decided to focus on the Clesson-Brook watershed because of obviously the flooding we've had with Irene and other events over the years have been very much impacted. So they were able to do through Buckland, through those first grants, we were able to do a lot of extra valuable work through a planning grant in 2022, then a 2-year grant that was awarded in 2023, and that developed the preliminary design. I think you may all remember we had an open house up at the Buckland Rec, talking about different issues in the watershed, specific restoration projects, which was towards Clesson River Farm as one of the areas in town that's particularly vulnerable. We did apply for another action grant recently to continue this work. But in order to be eligible for future MVP grants, we had to move away from the 1.0 into the 2.0, which is what the state is now, the model they're using for future action grants. So with this grant, the first 5 months are developing a core team. There's a lot of components to this grant. I'm going to be busy. Then the next 6 months are spent visiting our resilience priorities in town. And then 13 months more will be spent on a seed project that we have to implement. And the focus of 2.0 is to get even more community involvement than we did in 1.0, diving deeper into like social resilience, identify root causes of social vulnerability and what it takes to build community resilience. Understand all that? Yep. So basically we got $100,000 is the total award. There's no match. We have the first $50,000 is used to complete the first part, and then the second $50,000 is for the seed project. The community is going to help to identify the interests and needs as we develop this scope. And I've seen seed projects that went from like a community garden to establishing youth leadership programs, local food justice initiatives. Aging population's another area that we sort of touched upon in our grant application, trying to figure out the best ways to communicate with a rural population if there's an emergency, those types of things. So yeah, that's.
So when you mean by seed, you don't mean seeds, right? You mean
No, it's a seed project.
So it means you're
starting.
It's
not a seed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what they have called it. So in addition to the MVP 2.0, which we have been granted, you'll see on tonight's agenda, I'm also asking for a letter of support for another MVP action grant to continue to focus on those Clesson-Brook vulnerabilities, because the last time we applied, we were not awarded that grant. We sat through some meetings with the MVP folks to figure out what we might have been missing. So we're sort of polishing that up a little bit to try to get some more letters of support to show that this project is a very worthy project, and that it does, it's ultimately going to help prevent some pretty major issues with if 112 were to get washed out in a flood. And really sort of leaning into that. We're going to try to talk a little more with Mass DOT this time around as well. So MVP is going to be a big piece of my life for a while, and
Okay,
Congratulations.
we're very lucky to have Allison Cornish on board. She's done a lot of work with this leading up to, and I'm relying very heavily on her expertise since I need to be brought up to speed. We have a kickoff coming up the end of this month over in North Adams to kind of get all of our assignments together. We're assigned a partner right off the bat, an equity partner that's going to be part of this process. So I will certainly be back with more info as time goes on. But that's MVP 2.0 in a nutshell.
okey-doke.
All right. I would make a motion to authorize the town administrator and chair to sign the contractual documents for the MVP 2.0 grant.
I'll second that.
Further, all in favor?
Aye.
Our next agenda item is, we have a resignation of the Buckland Public Library librarian, Kelly Davis. She has submitted her letter of resignation, but not attaching a date at this point.
Our understanding, I'm Horace Taft, I'm the treasurer at the
Mhm.
library. Our understanding is she would like to be out of the job by the end of February.
Okay. All right. So I guess first I'll make a motion to accept the resignation for Kelly Davis from the Buckland Public Library.
I second that.
Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for all your work, Kelly. You'll certainly be missed. And I guess while we're on that, I think we'll turn it over and see where we're trying to venture from here.
Great.
You can sit in the hot seat.
Sorry about the floor.
It's all
Oh,
right.
no worries. You can see others have come before you. That's
It's that time of year.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
what
it
it
is. I'm Horace Taft, I'm the treasurer of the board at the library. And I was asked to come fill you in on where we stand with this. So with Kelly leaving that quickly, we have a problem about speed, getting this done. We have I don't know where to begin. Let's start with the past. This is our third librarian in 5 or 6 years who has chosen to leave. In Kelly's case, it's personal reasons, and that's fine. But the board is concerned that in previous postings of the job, the way it works, I read the personnel policies at Buckland today, stunning. The library is listed as the hiring authority, but the town pays the salary. So the way it's worked in the past is we've created a job posting at the library. We give it to the town administrator, who runs it by, I suppose, the personnel committee, makes whatever changes, and then we post the job, okay? The last 3 times we've hired a librarian, the job has listed 20 hours of variable salary range and benefits as a 20-hour employee. The last 3 librarians chose, for economic reasons, not to avail themselves of the town's health insurance. It made more sense for them, for different reasons, to work 19 hours. And our understanding with the town, that is the board's, is that while we made that concession and allowed a librarian to work 19 hours, that provided a financial windfall for the town, which is great, but the position wasn't going to change. So that when the 19-hour-a-week librarian leaves, we understood that we would be able to advertise a 20-hour-week position with benefits. Obviously, that draws a better pool of applicants. I went over some of the statistics from Franklin County Library today. Charlemont, Leiden, and Shelburne's Free Library don't offer benefits. Every other library in Franklin County, large and small towns, offer at least a 20-hour position with benefits. The data is from 2025, and at that point, the Buckland librarian is shown as having benefits if they need it, but they're also the lowest paid librarian in Franklin County.
I was gonna ask you that. What-
Yeah, by a couple of bucks an hour. It's hard because the MBLC, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, would not allow us, for example, to hire our current associate or assistant librarian because she doesn't have a 4-year degree, which to me is stunning. I mean, this is somebody in their 50s, they've lived 45 years of life, and because they didn't get a literature degree 40 years ago, they can't be a librarian. But that's the way it is. So we don't have the flexibility to have Sue step in and be interim director while we hire, because she's not according to MBLC, she's not qualified. So, two requests. One, that we hold the 20 hours and offer a competitive wage. And I think the range in the job description I gave to Pam would work. And the second is to act quickly, because we need to post this job so that we can begin to fill it. Our current plan is to have the board step in and parse out the duties that were strictly Kelly's and try and fill those in until we hire. Charlemont went through this. It took them 11 months to find a candidate. I know Arms has had a part-time position open for several weeks with no applications. So with what we are able to pay our librarian and the hours we can offer them, you kind of need somebody who has a partner who is full-time or is retired, or just, I mean, it's not you can't live on $23,000 a year. So that's what I'm asking. And, let us know when you've made your decision. Now, Pam told me that the monies for this year, for fiscal year 2026, were never appropriated. The monies for the insurance for the librarian were never appropriated.
There was so the way the town does it is they will sometimes build in for one, because we know kind of who's there. They may
Right.
build in a contingency of one, but the health insurance went up 20%
Right.
mid-year. I know, you know
I'm-
that.
I'm really,
So
like,
therefore, there's no cushion
Right.
anymore, because that was used.
So it's not something to go into here, but was the position changed when that decision was made? Because we hired somebody who took a job that offered 20 hours a week in benefits. If Kelly had said, I want that 20th hour this year.
It's a gamble that the town every year,
Okay.
we have a few positions who are eligible but not accepting. So it is sort of a gamble to say when you're doing the budget. And last year they had to cut so much to meet under the 2.5
And
that
I met with Joan and Abby. I understand the
Yeah.
financial constraints the
Yeah.
town's under, but that's what I was asked to do, and here I am doing it.
Understood.
Okay, and do you have any questions?
So what was the amount you were hoping to pay this person?
I didn't bring that piece of it.
When did you give that to me?
Several days ago. I can email it to you.
Okay,
It
if
was
you
a
could.
range of, don't hold me to this, 25 to 29 an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I believe. And that would put them in the mix with the rest of kind of small-town librarians, not all, sometimes.
So her current rate of pay is $25.18
Yeah.
per hour.
But they have to have a,
They have to have a 4-year degree.
you're right.
Ideally, they have a master's in library sciences. No, I'm not kidding. But
I
for
hear ya.
towns under 10,000, you can go through a training from MBLC and get a certificate, which you have to do in the first 2 years of your employment if you don't have that.
Yeah, my wife was a librarian at Mohawk for 19 years.
All right. Do you want to come back to work?
She got a, no, she was a high school degree, but she was doing it under Sue and then under Terry McConnell, because he had a degree, and now they have, it's like, come on, these people
Yeah.
that have degrees are very few and far between. It's a
Yes.
very exclusive club.
Especially in the hill towns.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Anything else I can tell you?
So how do we handle this?
Boy.
I mean, at this point right now, I think unfortunately, we can't offer a benefited position. At bare minimum until July 1st. Because we don't
Yeah.
have the funding
I get it.
to
Yeah.
even be able to offer it if we wanted to. And, I know there's a lot of unforeseen other expenses that are creeping up on us in these last few weeks as well, so, and rolling into budget season right now, I know I think it's all gonna kind of land on where our numbers are gonna be at.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say it, I mean, with where we're at now, we still might even be looking at a 2.5 override this year, so.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm just communicating with you what was communicated to me. The board thinks that will make a material difference in the functioning of the library going forward. And just I went over this with Joan and Abby, we're stepping up our contributions significantly, in fact, overextending ourselves, in my opinion, in order to meet the same rising costs that
Right.
the town is experiencing.
Yeah.
So to be investing that kind of capital into facilities, programming, materials, and then not be able to hire somebody who can use it, doesn't make sense. So the other possibility that we thought is to close. You know, that's for a period of time in July, prior to the July changeover in fiscal years, if necessary. And to say funding out, you know, we're also going to explore, but it's a longer process, combining librarians and sharing them among smaller Hilltown libraries, but that's not something we can do in 2 weeks.
Right.
So we're kind of up in it. And, you know, maybe you suggest we hire an interim librarian. But it's up to you, I guess, at this point.
The tough part about sharing would be that but libraries tend to be open at the same time, you know.
Actually, we try and stagger them.
Interesting.
For just that reason, so that if you're
Okay.
in the village and you need a book and it's Tuesday night, you go to Buckland. But
Okay.
if Wednesday, you go to Arms.
Because you have one person who has the degree, okay,
Yeah.
they did this in here, and the elementary schools, because I taught at Buckland, Shelburne, and Coleraine, use Sue Sylvester's, particular, one of their auspices, or Terry McConnell, who had the college degree and stuff, and they were just, they were good people, but they were just normal people with, you know, high school degrees, and did a great job. I'm curious, that's how my wife worked at Mohawk, you know. There was a librarian there, and they left, and they didn't hire anybody else, and she ran the library by herself for 19 years,
Yeah.
and did a good job, but I mean, it's.
Well, my criteria is that it works, but MBLC's criteria is probably different.
Exactly,
And they
yeah.
handle state aid, which is substantial, and if you don't meet their rules, they decertify you, and you don't want that.
That's, I'm wondering if they just had like a director of it, that's what Sue Seversky was called, actually, is the
Oh,
director of
okay.
the libraries. And
Well, we'll look at all of it.
if
for
that
sure.
could work, you know, I've seen like plumbers work on their father's licenses, and electricians do, and
Yeah.
if there was something like that, that might at least get some. I can't think of too many people that are gonna be
Yeah.
waiting in line with.
Well, we had several good candidates
Did you?
last time, so,
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if I could just ask for an update when you have one, that would be useful.
Okay.
Yeah, keep us informed too, thank you.
Okay, and as I said, you know, she resigned, I know you only meet bi-weekly, every 2 weeks?
Mhm.
But she resigned about 3 weeks ago, and so we're meeting again tomorrow night as a board.
If you let
trying to
Pam
go
know, she
forward.
can always email us and tell us too, if there's anything significant we have to know, so.
Okay,
So just to be clear, so right now, the person is paid what per year? Or is it per hour? Or
it's an
It's-
hourly wage.
it's-
It's 18,
$25.18 an hour based on 19 hours a
Can you
week.
say that again, please?
$25.18.
Yeah, well, it's $500 a week if it's
19 hours.
residents.
19 hours. And you were seeking what? What were you
Year
seeking?
round.
I think the range was from 25 to 29.
29, okay.
It's either
And how are
500
you going to advertise then?
We've advertised it on the MBLC, I think it's the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners website, which is a place that people wanting library jobs go.
Right.
We have to advertise it in the Greenfield Recorder,
Right,
and anywhere else we can, but that's not my
not yours.
job.
Okay, all right, I just would like more information, so.
Yep, no problem. And if you want, I can leave you this. This is the FERCog salary study from last year, if you want to look it over. Okay,
That's online. Yep.
it's online, but I can give you
Yep,
this.
yep.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, blaze a trail for me.
And what does it cost to insure a person in our town?
Oh, yes, $29,989 a year.
Say that again, please?
$29,989.
And what happens if they have a family? Is that
That's
just,
for that's worst case scenario.
that's worst case scenario? Okay.
Yeah. All right, our next agenda item is we have an amendment of the agreement to the electric service agreement with First Point Power LLC.
Don't ask me a lot of questions.
Try to take a stab at it, Pam?
So I kind of came onto this job in the midst of our contract negotiations with Colonial for the aggregation for the town of Buckland. So it is almost like a foreign language sitting
you're
through
right
those
about that.
meetings. Basically, we have locked in with Colonial and our company there, First Point Power LLC, for the energy. That part is locked in for the next 3 years. However, there is this new thing called a DAISY. DASI is the acronym. That is a new item, well, let's see. I wrote a whole little thing here because I figured it'd be easier for me just to read
Read
it.
it, yeah.
So, due to a regulatory event and pursuant to a provision in the electric service agreement, there will be a rate adjustment with the town of Buckland's aggregation rates for electricity. This is effective March 2026, those meter reads. There's going to be a rate increase for the standard program of 0.01160 per kilowatt hour. This is due to the ISO New England Day Ahead Ancillary Services Initiative, or DAISY. All right. DAISY lessens the need for fast start generation assets and diminishes the load settled on the real-time market over time. My understanding is that it's basically paying for these companies to be at the ready to provide power should the power be drawn down to a point where it's like, you know, in the movies you see the lights dim and then suddenly these plants all fire up at the last minute and the lights come back on. This is basically these generation assets are kind of at the ready. And the costs with this are very variable. It's a brand new component to this ancillary market. So that means an increased cost to us during times of uncertainty, like last weekend when the temperature dropped so rapidly. That was sort of what prompted them to hold this emergency meeting, because typically basically 2 years of expected costs for this DAISY that they had estimated happened in one day. It was I mean, the guy at the meeting was just kind of blown away. So in order to, because they had basically projected over time what this DAISY rate was going to look like, and it's just been like way above. And so all of these costs are regulatory costs, which are not fixed. They were not fixed in our contract. So our contract did allow for this change to happen. So just for the average user of 600 kilowatt hours a month, you're going to see an increase in about $6.96 on your bill because of this DAISY situation. I'm going to post the information to the website. You guys have it in front of you. It's a couple pages long, but there is a phone number at the bottom for people who have questions to call Colonial directly. Please call them directly, because I do not know all the ins and outs of it. It's like I said, it's almost like a foreign language sitting there. I've tried to figure it out as best I can, but essentially that is something that is allowed to change within our contract. So we do have to sign the amendment to move forward because of these drastic increases that were not predicted. And this is the first year of this DAISY program, so they really had nothing to base it on. And they actually went higher than what they were told, and it still isn't even close. It isn't even close.
Can I, while we're talking about this,
Yeah.
you talk about, there's Colonial and what is the other one, Patriot?
First Point Power.
So how come on our bill it says, is it Dynegy?
Dynegy, that was the last contract, so it should be shifting over to
Mine
First
still
Point
says
Power.
that on my electric
I think
bill.
it's as of the next bill.
Oh, okay.
I think, because I think mine still said Dynegy as
Okay.
well. If not, we'll call Colonial and ask why.
Okay, so, because my thought was, is it a subsidiary of one of these, but
No,
it should read
it should
Colonial.
read First Point Power is what it should read.
Oh, First
Colonial
Point.
is the company that does like the aggregation,
Okay.
puts
First
it all
Point
together,
Power.
but they went out to bid with different companies. Last time it was Dynegy, that was the low bid for the cost of power. This year it was First Point Power. So I'm actually the authorized signatory for that, but I wanted to bring it forward to all of you so you understood this was happening. And like I said, I will post to the website. I think they may be sending out postcards again to people who are on that program, but it's sort of happening in a fluid manner. So, yes.
feel like I need an engineering degree to
Oh gosh,
understand.
it's something, and part of me, like, cause I'm so new to this whole thing, I'm kind of looking around at others who seem to kind of know more and understand, I think. So I have goals to really understand this. But bottom line, you know, $6.96, and you're always welcome to switch back to Eversource for your supplier if you so desire, but again, that's all gonna be on the website, so.
Okay. All right, so nothing we need to vote on then for
No,
that? Because
we're
you're
just
the
informational.
one signing it, so.
Yep.
All right, no appointments tonight. Plenty of openings, if anybody's looking.
Yeah.
Documents to sign, we have a letter of support for the MVP action grant, which Heather spoke with earlier,
Heather?
or, sorry, wow. Going back a little bit, Pam,
What
sorry.
now?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Wow, am I that good? I'm just like,
Well, you have been running around with your hair on fire the last few days,
yeah,
so,
that's true, that's true.
You know,
Yep,
it was,
it's coming.
some flashbacks. That Pam spoke about, earlier. I would, make a motion to sign the letter of support for the MVP action grant.
I second that?
your
Didn't we
turn.
already, didn't we? already-
Not all at once. Can we just start having both of you second it?
Yeah, all right, I second it.
Can we go second and third? I don't know.
Okay, I'll second it.
Anything further?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have our minutes and warrants for January 27th. The minutes of January 27th and vendor and payroll warrants, 26/17. I'll make a motion to approve both minutes and the warrants.
I'll second that.
Further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I like that Alicia sends it early in the day so I can actually read it.
Good, yeah. No, I'm glad I asked her to do that for you guys, so.
Items not anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance. I've got nothing. You have select board member concerns. I think we have some information from you guys from the meeting at the high school for the 2D8T plan of action.
Yeah, we met at Mohawk Trail, last, Thursday, correct?
Yes.
Thursday. And of the 8 towns, the only 2 towns that weren't there, Plainfield wasn't there, Coleraine
Coleraine.
wasn't there. And it was people from the finance committees and select board, and for Buckland, it was Larry and myself on the select board, and then, Paula and
Larry.
the other Larry.
Everything.
We had the Larrys there.
The other brother.
And so, it was a cordial meeting. They talked about the, complications like, we would need to go forward a new regional agreement. They were talking about changing the way the school committee, how it's represented, the town's represented on the school committee. Correct me if I make any mistakes here, Larry.
No.
How assessments are determined, and Paula was really very outspoken on the regional agreement and the assessments, explaining Buckland's concerns. Another concern was what happens to the school buildings if they are closed. That was another thing that brought up. And there was an encouragement for towns to gather opinions from residents, see what they want, so we know what's going on. It was a lot of talking about the process. I believe they're invited to the eligibility process in July or something, is that?
Yeah.
There was an awful lot to.
It was a lot, and it just showed that they're far from ready for anything. And that's really it. It's just still so scattered out there, and talking to people in hallways, and telling them out the way they felt about their school in Ashfield, and it's, everybody go to Mohawk or not, or doing this, and it's gonna cost millions of dollars to do over Buckland Shelburne. I went, what? So if they put them there, so But, so it's really, really up in the air. But I agree with you. I think, we have no idea, but I don't know, what do we do? Can offer just a listening session to get, you know, for townspeople to come here? Maybe we could put it on the website, and we could get, someone who's much more capable than I am, either Joan or Larry, or, no, I mean, you know, do with someone like Joan or Larry, Langford, or,
Phoebe? Maybe
Phoebe, if
Phoebe
she
would do-
knows, yeah, even Paula, I mean, she
Paula,
has her opinions, but I think Larry and Paula would do it, since they are Buckland residents,
Mm-hmm.
would be probably the best, you know.
Well, one thing that Paula said is that we have 23%
Exactly.
of the kids at Mohawk Trail
Yes, yes.
District. That's a
And
lot.
that's what she was worried about, if it goes down to, percentages of students, so someone was saying that was the way we could pick things or pay things, and like, you know, it's interesting.
But yet, I think our individual income is lower than
It is-
other
That
towns.
came up too also, yes.
Our individual what?
Income, you know,
Oh.
in terms of our
Was it
wealth,
the aggregate
wealth,
or
you
whatever
know.
it is,
Lack
yeah,
thereof.
yeah,
lack thereof, yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that's actually a good idea, if we did, we just, you know, sponsored, say the select board feels as though, you know, and ask Larry and Paul if they do it, and pick a night, and if people are really interested, what may happen to their school, they would be here or wherever else we hold. I think we got plenty of room in here, because, you know, I don't know what else to say, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, we could present, you know, without, I don't want it to be so top-heavy with the Mohawk Trails presenting, but they, you know, we give them the
Right,
basics,
right.
these are the different options, you
Yeah,
know, and what
yeah.
do you want, you know? And I'd like to hear, you know?
Yeah,
Did they happen to mention, them bringing anything in regards to this project to town meetings?
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, I think they're far from that, you know, this is I think this is gonna still take years, this is a funny thing, you know, it's,
I feel like while we're meeting, I think the tech school should also be part
Well,
of that
that's the-
conversation with residents to
That's the
understand
elephant.
that's coming quicker.
the elephant in the room. It's
Oh, no, I
well,
said the elephant in the hallway.
The elephant in the hallway, but it really is,
I mean, maybe
because,
just a forum in general on the future of education for Buckland. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
what we're gonna be potentially responsible for, what could be coming down the
sure, they talked about
pipeline.
everything, if the buildings belong to, towns, or they belong to the district, if they belong to the district, what are they gonna do to get rid of them? And then somebody even got into, well, you could take some real estate company, give them all of them, and they have to sell them away. I mean, it just became, whoa, did we, so,
Well, actually, Buckland Shelburne Elementary School has a lot of land.
it sure does, 14 acres. I think
14
there is.
acres,
I'm
and
pretty
so-
sure there is 14 acres here,
Yeah,
It's a lot of homesteads, little 14 houses with an acre each,
you know,
yeah. But I don't know what else, but I agree with Joan. I didn't know enough about it, if we could
Too
have
late, huh?
legal meeting that way.
Oh, for Ho?
Yeah,
He was here and he left.
okay.
Were you here to give him back up?
I reiterate whatever he said.
okay,
Good to see everyone.
Thanks,
Take care.
George.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could potentially do something for all of that, you know, a session.
Larry and Paula seem to understand, because they've been involved even more, so at least they, you know, they understand how some of the other towns are feeling too, which was interesting.
Well, I know, I know both of them, especially Paula has been very immersed in
Definitely.
this entire thing, because I know the school is a very large part, for her, being on the finance committee, so she follows it very closely.
She does.
So, you know, I think both of them would be able to bring quite a bit to the table.
Yeah,
You know, but I think on top of it, I think Martha can as well, so.
yeah.
right.
um,
I think it makes sense for obviously our school committee reps.
Oh, sure.
She and
Yeah, yeah.
Dave to be
Sure.
there.
Yep,
But my request is that they do it briefly and let the people
Right.
talk.
And you could have been Martha and Stanton too, I would not leave her, I'll being the superintendent, but
Sure.
if just those four people could answer a lot of questions that
Right, that we can't.
surprise me, and, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I think I want to hear what people have to say.
Yeah. I think that was what they sort of told us anyways.
Right,
what
they were
know.
they were encouraging us to do that.
I've heard of several of them say, I don't know how everybody feels, but I know how I feel, you were saying in there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know early on, they, obviously, when they were doing the study on it, they were reaching out to a lot of people,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, you know, they kinda gave us a breakdown of what the average people were submitting. You know, but not really, it didn't really get into what people were actually saying on those. So I think it would be good to know,
Yeah, I think so.
from a town standpoint,
Does
because
Phoebe know too?
it's,
Or we wouldn't need Phoebe, a small,
I probably no.
no, I don't think so, no.
I was just thinking for moderator, but we don't really
No,
need.
I don't think we do, I was gonna say,
It's not a town meeting, so.
yeah, no, no, it's an informal, giving facts to the select board and
So
school
we can hear what-
committee. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, I can talk to, they have a finance committee meeting on the off week that you're not meeting, so I can bring that to them next
Thank you,
week.
yeah.
I know they're really busy now with
Yeah,
town meeting,
they are.
But this is part of the whole process.
it'd be nice to do
so-
it when it's not such a winter,
It
you know?
doesn't have to be done this
Right.
Not
today,
right
but
away.
it'd be nice if we could,
We can work
in
towards
the
that.
early spring or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I'd love if parents came, you know,
Yes,
and
yes.
just retired people, all kinds of people, how this would have, you know, what they want, you know?
And we can somehow then put it on the Buckland website, executive, okay, so let's, yeah, well, thank you very much, ma'am, too, yeah.
Yeah, put it in the paper and all
Yeah.
that.
well, thank you both, and Larry and Paula for attending that.
Yeah.
You know, it's, these meetings are coming hot and heavy right now, so there's a lot of them going around, and it's every department, so.
Yes, and multiple schools that are having these meetings
Yes.
too. Tonight, the meeting that we had told everyone last meeting was last night, actually ended up being tonight for tech down at GCC.
Right,
So
right.
Larry was obviously not here to report back
Right.
like he
I
was
was gonna get
planning
out,
on
I
it.
was gonna get on, but then, you know,
Yeah.
it's, I don't see, we have to take care of this first. Tech that's a pipe dream as far as I'm concerned, you know?
Well,
How
For
old
a
is
town-
that?
well, I
they're
mean,
further along in the
I think
process.
Their,
so-
their pipe's a lot more formed though than
Yeah.
the one
It
we're,
is.
But I'm saying it's,
It is.
it's, you know,
So,
a lot
anyway,
of towns that are in trouble around here, small towns.
How old is that building?
Mohawk,
No, Franklin Tech.
50?
50 years, he
I
said.
think they said 50. He said
50
50.
years, huh?
yep.
I'd like to be 50.
You're not here?
I was once.
Well, but Mohawk's not much older,
How old's Mohawk,
That one.
Mary?
Paul was 67.
67.
Is when I was-
so,
Buckland Shovel was
Almost
58,
60.
so you figure.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
which is about right, because I was in third grade when that opened, and then I was the first graduating class up at Mohawk.
Don't date yourself.
Hey, it shows, what can I say?
You're a legend, Mary.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's called experience.
All right.
It's called life.
All right, well, let's work on that.
One of the true founders.
We will work on that. I have that on my notes to
Good.
work on.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. Anything else for select
No.
board concerns?
Nope.
Our town administrator's report.
So a lot of it I've already covered, where we're at with the MVP grant. One thing I want to call your attention to early this year, because I used to be the one that worked on this, and I know how frustrating it is not to get this done early. The
Why are you looking
annual
at me?
report and dedication. We obviously try to keep the dedication sort of under wraps until town meeting, but I want all of you to be thinking about it. And please shoot any of your thoughts and ideas my way so that I can see if there's some sort of person out there that you might be thinking of and kind of go from there.
Did we ever do anything like immemorial?
We have, absolutely. I think probably most of our annual reports have been sort of awarded I think for somebody who's passed, we have had some that, we've done 2 people in a
Yeah,
year
we've done
before
both.
too.
We've done both.
sometimes,
It's
you
nice,
know,
it's, I like last year when we honored,
for Marion,
yeah, someone
that
who'd
was
served
nice.
so long, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So start thinking about it.
Okay,
I will be working on doing, because the select board chair, I think, is supposed to do an annual recap. I will help, but hey now, you got this,
You
Clint.
read it last year.
I wrote it last year?
Yeah.
No, I think Heather must have, it wasn't me. I don't
yeah,
think-
she was still here.
Oh, no, I wrote Marion's,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about there's an actual letter from the select board in the annual report that kind of recaps their successes and so forth. We'll work on it. I just wanted to put it out there. Put it
Right,
out
a
there.
good leader delegates.
Yes, this is true. And then Kara actually brought me a time off request today, so that was not on the agenda. She's hoping to take next week off, and I don't know. I mean, technically, I think the select board is supposed to sign off on it. I've signed off on it.
Does she still work here?
She does. She does. And I think that's pretty much what I had. A lot of it was the MVP announcements and the fact that we're gonna be working a lot towards that goal. And, you know, just keeping things running downstairs.
Good job.
Lots of things going on every week.
Any numbers coming in from the schools yet?
No. Paula had mentioned they were still pretty high. I don't think they've come up with a consensus, but
Mhm.
we should be starting to get some more dialed in numbers here pretty quick.
Yeah. Clock's starting to tick,
Mhm.
A little bit,
so.
a little bit. Alicia and I have been working on the budget together now that she is our accountant. We're trying to align the accountant's spreadsheets with the budget, with the article numbers, and try to kind of revamp things a little bit, fix the spreadsheet so it's not broken. So there's some behind the scenes stuff happening, you know, as both of us kind of figure things out. It's actually a good opportunity to look at it with fresh eyes, because we both have fresh eyes. I mean, granted, I've seen it for years, just in other capacities, but to be the one actually putting the numbers together, it's, you know, it's forced me to have to really go back and really look hard at what we've spent in various departments and understand if there's things in there that we don't need and areas that we might need a little more, and figure it all out. So it's been an eye opener. Getting there.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, public comment. Hearing none. Announcements and upcoming meetings. We have, our next select board meeting will be February 24th, at 5 PM, taking place in this very office. We have, Finance Committee is
It's next Tuesday night.
next
so
Tuesday,
that
and
would
they're at
be
5 o'clock as well, aren't
Yep.
they?
Correct.
They will
17th.
be continuing to motor on the town financials, getting ready for the budget season that's moving along rapidly. Any other announcements or anything else coming up that you guys can think of?
Don't park on the road tonight.
Yes, please, there is snow coming, and the plows will be out, I'm sure, at some point this evening, so.
They've had a tremendous amount of snow to move this year, and you know, it's been a year that I think people haven't been used to, because it seems like we've had more complaints than in the past about snow being in people's yards and so forth. And unfortunately, when you have 2 feet of snow to move, it's hard to
No
place
place
it.
to put it.
Yeah,
It's
When you're
hard.
listening to news and you get the Holyoke and Springfield down there, they're panicked, you know, there's no
Yeah.
place to put it.
some of them are still buried in there
Aren't
from the
they?
last
Yes, they
storm.
are.
So-
Yes, they are.
Our crew has been working hard, and again, another plug, we're gonna be down a member of our highway crew. We've advertised, and so far haven't heard anyone interested, so spread the word that we are looking for someone to fill this position
Yes,
on our highway crew.
all right, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Not too bad, 45 minutes.